smiling.
Davina, and I'm the relationship manager at iPayTotal. Today we're joined by our head of business development, Keith Angel, based out of Florida. So Keith has been with iPayTotal, I think, for just about over a year now. So Keith, just give us a little bit of insight on your background and your journey with iPayTotal.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Davina. I started with the business in January 2019. I really didn't know much about merchant processing at that point. So I always tell people that I was drinking from a fire hose when I first started, with all the different acronyms and all the different nomenclature and whatnot. So, and we literally were a startup at that point. Now, let me be clear, the owners have been doing this for decades. So rest easy, clients, they know the business very well. But the business itself was registered in the UK in, I believe it was August 2018, maybe a little sooner. I started in January 2019, and we literally were a startup. We had a few, maybe a few hundred clients at that point, and it's grown exponentially since then. So I've went through a few different roles since I've been here. I started out in your role as a client relationship manager, moved into global head of business development, strategic business development, and then just recently moved into head of business development for the company.
Great stuff. So for those who basically aren't familiar with high risk business, merchant, and those that language, what would you say iPayTotal does, and basically how does the company generate business?
Great question. So there are acquiring, when I say acquirers, it means banks or entities or institutions that are licensed and that can underwrite merchants. And so full understand transparency. iPayTotal underwrite, or does not underwrite, but we facilitate merchants getting placed for a merchant account so that they can do e-commerce credit card processing. We do not do point of sale systems at this juncture, but there are low, medium, and high risk merchants out there. And this is classified by the acquiring banks or entities that can do the underwriting on behalf of the merchants. We have nothing to do with that as far as the classification. And a little deeper dive into the weeds there, Visa and MasterCard and the credit cards classify that as well. And the acquiring institutions have to be licensed through Visa and MasterCard as well to use their services. So you have Visa, MasterCard, which is the entities you see on your credit card, and they join with the banks, the acquiring banks or the entities, to get licensed. And then these acquiring banks do the underwriting on behalf of the merchant. So iPayTotal is kind of a two-pronged approach as a business. We specialize in high risk, but we have SaaS, or software as a system. So we have our own financial gateway. Now, the other side of that is we have relationships with several acquiring banks or acquiring institutions that have their license, that have the relationship with Visa, MasterCard, for example, and they do the underwriting. So we are a payment, I like to use the term payment facilitator. We do not have a PF license. We do not have our money license, but we have the financial gateway and we have the relationship with the acquiring banks. So you put those two together. And so we are the introducer, if you will, the middle person that works on behalf of the merchant to get them underwritten through the acquiring institution.
Okay, amazing. Yes. So just for people who will be watching this video, can you just give us just an idea of the underwriting process? How long does it take normally?
Absolutely. So we, backing up a second, we get business in a few separate ways, a few different ways, if you will. The first would be an individual merchant sees our website. They like what they see. They go to the Apply Now link, and then they start the application process as an individual merchant. Typically, once they finish the process of filling out the application and uploading their KYC, in this business, it's called KYC. It's for Know Your Client. It's all the legal documentations, identifications, bank statements, and so forth that is required for an acquiring institution to underwrite that merchant. So once they're done with that, it's handed off to the sales team. The sales team will look in the in progress section within our customer relationship management system that all of these merchants are housed in. So they'll look at that, and if everything is good, they'll move it to a completed status. And at that point, it goes is sent off to the acquiring institutions for underwriting. Literally, one thing we pride ourselves on is we can get an answer back as early as 24 hours. So if someone fills out an app in the morning, their time, literally the next morning, they can have a pre-approval answer as yes or no. And in this business, that's really unheard of. It is a dynamic part of our business. We're an industry leader when it comes to that point. But typically, it will take 48 to the outside of 72 hours, but usually no longer than that. So once that merchant is given, say, an approval, what we'll do is we'll send out an SLA, or a service level agreement, which provides the buy rate for that merchant based upon all the dynamics of their business. If they execute that document, then they send it back to us, and then we'll send them one more document. That document is to do an integration into their website through API. Once we integrate with their website, then what that does, it allows us to see all the transactions in our virtual terminal on our side, everything that takes place. So we can see such things as successful transactions. We can see such things as declined transactions and why. We can see, of course, everything, where the IP address, everything that has taken place with that particular transaction.
Great, perfect. Thank you, Keith. That was really clear. So I think what we'd like to know next is, what type of businesses can you help? Can iPayTotal help?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. One thing I did miss and I want to highlight is we have a such thing called a referral partnership. But before I get into that, to answer your question, our top industries that we place is Forex trading, gaming, gambling, CBD oil, our CBD products. But we only have a small amount of verticals, we call them, excuse me, or businesses that we cannot underwrite. Some examples of those would be like Kratom. It would be small arms sales, and then anything that Visa and MasterCard deems as illegal. So those are some examples of what we cannot place. Pretty much everything else, we have the ability to find a home for that merchant. But one of our other business models that is very important and a very big part of our business is referral partners. Excuse me. But we have what we call referral partnership. So a referral partnership works as follows. This is when another business, just like we are, say iPayTotal, let's say they can only place low and medium risk clients. They don't have the ability to place high risk merchants. And again, to underscore the point, we do not deem merchants high risk. The acquirers or entities that can underwrite the merchant is the ones who deem, or Visa and MasterCard can deem those as well as high risk. And they're deemed as such because of the ability or the potential chargebacks and refunds, etc., that can take place on that account or that business. But so referral partnership. So someone approaches us, they query us, and they will ask, send us a potential partnership connection through our website that they want to potentially be a referral partner. It will come to us via email, or they'll try to connect with us on Skype. We use Skype as our main platform for communicating with clients. And we reach out and set up a business meeting with that individual company or individual themselves. And what we're going to do during that meeting is we're going to talk to them about the potential clients that they have, and if it's a fit for both of us. So after that meeting, what we're going to do is send some documents out to them. It's going to be the referral partnership agreement. It's going to be who we are as a business. It's going to list all the KYC documents that are required to underwrite a client, and how the referral partnership program works. We give that individual the time to review those documents, and at that point, either we'll set up another call to go over those documents, the agreement itself, or if they execute the agreement, then the next step is we're going to give them credentials to log into our customer relationship management system. When they log in, they'll have the ability to start filling out an application, uploading the KYC documents on behalf of the merchant, or we have a great thing within our website is that it's an individual link they can send out to that merchant, and then the merchant themselves can fill out the app, upload the KYC documents. And again, it's going to be just like that individual applicant. They're going to let us know the application's complete. We're going to review it, move it to a completed status, send it out for underwriting. Within 24 to 72 hours, we're getting that approval. And at this point, it takes a different turn. So we're going to reach out to that referral partner, and we're going to tell them what the buy rate or the MDR that was offered to them. And then they're going to tell us what they want to mark it up to send to the merchant. So once that's done, we send out a service level agreement just as before. If the merchant executes that, we're going to send them the API document to integrate, and then they're going to be up and live processing. The great thing is that if we got all of this on a Monday, applications complete, KYC documents are uploaded, we send it out, the merchant could literally be processing live on Friday. And I think, again, in this industry, it is an industry first to be able to do that. I've worked with other acquirers that we've used as partners before, and literally weeks, sometimes outwards of a month, to underwrite a client. And it's a very competitive business. And in that time frame, you're going to lose the client.
Absolutely, yeah, I definitely agree. I've been with iPayTotal for a very short period, but I must say that it is very competitive, and yes, for sure, 24 to 72 hours is definitely a winner. So, Keith, just tell me a little bit about the verticals. I know you did mention gaming, crypto, CBD. Are there any specific verticals that would be restricted for iPayTotal to work with?
Yeah, as I referenced before, there's a few. There is, of course, Kratom, as I mentioned, small arms, and then anything that Visa and MasterCard will deem as illegal. Of course, it would be something like illegal drugs, substances. That's why it's so important when we go through the underwriting process, with the acquirer goes through the underwriting process, they're going to look at a couple things within their website for their business. They're going to look at that it's a secure website, so that the transaction is secure when that individual's entering their credit card information for purchasing whatever it is the merchant is offering, that it's a secure website. The other thing is they're going to be looking at that website to make sure there is nothing in there that is illegal. Take, for instance, some kind of illegal drugs or substances and whatnot. So they're looking at that website. And the acquirer and us as well will be periodically looking at that website randomly to make sure that it still is within the guidelines and is legal, while they're processing, to make sure that the merchant didn't, since they started or got underwritten and started processing, that they did not start to upload any kind of illegal substances or products that Visa, MasterCard, or something that would be illegal.
Of course, of course. Now, considering that a company already has its own payment gateway, is there any solution that iPayTotal can fit in on that occasion?
Absolutely. We call it a white label solution. So the reason that we offer this is we have our own financial gateway. There are, as you said, there's companies out there that have their own financial gateway, but they still don't have the network of acquirers to underwrite their clients that they want to start processing with. They value those relationships, and they don't want to, let's say, open the door for their merchants to see another entity that they could work with. So what they do, and in this case, we have a white label partnership that we could do, where we integrate our financial gateway with their financial gateway. Depending on the volumes that they're introducing, there can and cannot be a fee. So if they're doing heavy volumes, they're going to introduce heavy volumes, then we can waive that fee. If not, then what we typically do is they can pay that fee up front, or we can take it out of their commissions that they would get at the end of the month, based upon what the merchant did for processing their share. So if they execute that agreement after we quote price, terms, they execute that agreement, then our tech team will start the process of integrating our gateway with their gateway. And here's what happens is all the merchants that they need underwritten never sees us, iPayTotal. What they see is still company, let's just say hypothetically, this company is XYZ, merchant processing. And that's all they'll see. All the documents they see, all the communications they see will still be from that same company. We are back office, if you will, kind of business process outsourcing. They've outsourced us for underwriting. So we do all the underwriting, we get the approvals, we get them onboarded, and that client that they have, their clients never see us. And it's a great partnership because we can get the clients that they cannot place, we can get them placed, and we both earn from that relationship.
Great. Okay. So the white label, basically, we're talking about here, they won't be seeing, clients won't be seeing any iPayTotal logo or anything.
Nothing. No, nothing. It would still be company XYZ as we use in this scenario. It would still be their company logo and coming from all their communications, not ours.
Great. So give me just a brief overview of the territories that you do not cover, or what are the places that you are mainly focusing on at the moment?
Sure. The list is a little long, so I can't go through all the individual countries, but we do have, or we can supply a list of restricted verticals, meaning restricted businesses, and then restricted countries. And that restricted country list is the country where the credit card is processing from. So take, for instance, one on the list is Japan. We can't process credit cards that are originated out of Japan. Russia would be another one currently that we cannot process out of. However, we are looking at solutions to where we're forming relationships with acquirers and with institutions, entities that have the license to do the underwriting that can place in some of that list. We're working very closely, and we do foresee some of these restricted countries that we currently have on the list as going away that we can do business within. So that'd be a huge bonus for our white label partners, as well as our referral partners and individual clients.
Amazing. Perfect. Okay, that's clear. So like any other business, Keith, there are risks associated, especially obviously this industry is one very volatile one. So what risk would you say that exists?
Great question. Again, um, there are risks, as with any business, and I like to be fully transparent on this. But the risk doesn't come from us because we're the middle person. And we try to make this as clear as possible when we onboard merchants, whether they're an individual applicant or they're merchants, we're in a referral partnership or white label partnership. So the acquirer themselves is the one who does the underwriting. The acquirer is the one taking the risk by doing the underwriting, and they charge a premium for that, for doing that and taking that risk. So I'll give you a hypothetical situation. Well, not hypothetical, it's really happened before. Take, for instance, if we do underwriting for a gaming gambling merchant, when they go through the process of doing the underwriting, they are required to list all URLs or websites that they're going to do business through. And they say, let's say they list 5 websites. The acquiring bank or entity that is doing the underwriting will review those websites, and they will list it as credit cards can be processed through those websites. Now, if the merchant adds URLs and does not tell anybody, 2 things can happen. When the client, who is the end user, who uses their credit card to purchase those services, processes on a URL that is not listed, it will throw a red flag because it's not a website that is listed. Let's say, for instance, if it did go through for some reason, when the end user, the client, who swiped their credit card for those services, gets their bank statement, or if they have it set up to where they get an alert immediately on their phone from using their credit card, for instance, they see this descriptor or name of a business that they don't recognize. They're likely going to call their bank and they're going to ask for a refund or a chargeback because they don't recognize that website or that where that services came through, which throws a red flag to the acquirer because now there could be the potential chargeback, even though it was legally purchased interaction, if you will. But in instances like this, if this keeps happening or the acquirer sees that someone is using websites that was not underwritten, they can shut down that merchant account immediately. Mm-hmm. And with rightfully so, because they're the ones that's taking the risk. Because let's say there start an abundant amount of chargebacks or requests for refunds start coming through. There's only so much funds that the acquirer has. They have a 10% rolling reserve normally that they keep to cover this. They have what they charged, and these fees get quite expensive on the clients or on the merchants themselves, because there's a charge for a refund to process that because it takes people to do that work. There's a charge for chargeback because it takes people to do that work. For a flag transaction, there's documents that have to be submitted. So with that said, it takes people to do that work to go through the process, and people have to get paid for doing that work. So in this instance, we actually had one client that was shut down, and anytime a merchant account is shut down, the acquiring bank can hold on to those funds for up to 180 days, 6 months. Now you ask, why so long, or why are they holding on to that money? Because they have to ensure that they have mitigated every risk. Mm-hmm. They have mitigated all refunds, all chargebacks before they're going to release those funds. When they finally do have everything mitigated, they can release the funds to us that is due, we can pay the referral partner what is due, and then the funds can be released to the merchant, what is left over to them. So everything after everything is processed, all mitigated risk are mitigated, they'll release whatever funds are left over after that's taken care of. So that's a risk, but I have to underscore this. This is very important. This is not iPayTotal. This is it can be the merchant engages in a fraudulent scheme. It can be the client, the end user, somebody that is using their credit card. They could be trying to use a stolen credit card. And at some point, if the merchant account is shut down, then it enters that scenario that I just said. Now, we've had people that come back to us and jumping and screaming, where's my money? How come I didn't get paid? And we explain to them very clearly, look, the acquirer is the one that makes the decision to shut down. We provide them the information of why it was shut down. And again, at the end of the day, the acquirer is the one who takes the risk, and they are the one that can shut down a MID at any time. And they're the ones that will hold on to the funds until, again, they have mitigated all risk.
Perfect. Thank you, Keith. That was very good explanation in terms of the risk associated. Just one question that we often get: do you take startups?
We do. That's good to know, because there are individuals like us out there, entities like us out there, that will not take startups. Take, for instance, when kind of the whole CBD market collapsed here in the U.S. There was an organization that was doing a lot of underwriting for CBD, and after it collapsed, CBD merchants they were scrambling for a processor that would underwrite their business. And what they were kind of mandating is that they had to be doing $150,000, $200,000 or more a month in processing. Well, some of these startups may only be doing $5,000 a week. They're small, but we take those startups because if they can go through the KYC process and we can get them underwritten, we gladly take them, because guess what? They're going to grow. Their business is going to grow, and we want to be part of that journey. As they grow, they get more sales. We want them to remember us as the one that got them underwritten. We got them to start earning a living off of their business, their hard work and sweat that they've put into that business. And as they grow, sometimes exponentially, they're going to stay with us, because they look back and they say, it was iPayTotal that started us, and we're going to stay with them.
Perfect. That's good to know. So, from what we've understood, iPayTotal establishes really long relationships with its clients, and I think that's the essence of a good company as well. So, any closing note for our viewers out there who potentially would be looking to come to us and seek for some assistance with their businesses?
Yeah, I would kind of close in saying that, give us the opportunity. I know we just were looking at our Trustpilot rating. I think we're a 4.2 or 4.3 out of 5. So I think we have a good rating. As with any business, there's certainly the opportunity to get a bad rating or negative rating. And it kind of falls into that scenario I was just going over when a MID is closed and individuals are asking questions as to, why they're not getting paid. And again, the funds aren't with us. The funds are with the acquirer. So we have a good rating on Trustpilot. We have a very solid team. We have a great sales team, marketing team. We have client relationship managers as yourself that is very connected with the referral partners. The sales team is more connected with the individual applicants, whereas like yourself and another member of our team, Mita, is connected with the referral partners. So you're engaged with them on a weekly basis, kind of giving them a progress check on how they're doing. And a lot of people don't do that. And I would say give us the opportunity. I think that you'll be pleasantly pleased if you give us the opportunity to come to us, give us the opportunity, and see where things go.
Perfect. And what's the best way to reach out to iPayTotal?
Go to our website, iPayTotal.com. And again, if you're an individual applicant, you can use the Apply Now link. There is a portion in there too about becoming a referral partner. You can input your information there and send us a query for becoming a referral partner. And someone will be back in touch with you very quickly so that we can start that those synergies discussion and those discussions, having a meeting so that we can get things going.
Great, perfect. Well, as always, listening to you, Keith, is always very instructive. You never stop learning with Keith. Thank you, everyone, for watching this. And yeah, hope to hear from potential business partners very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Davina, so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Keith. Bye.
All right. Bye now.